From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, good morning, everyone. That atmospheric river I was telling you about, it was certainly in full effect here yesterday. Of biggest impacts, especially for most of the day, was along the coast and even parts of Trinity County, but then eventually making its way into the valley. We did see the bulk of the rain for the valley in the late parts of the day, into the evening and overnight hours. But now things are starting to kind of wrap themselves up this morning. The atmospheric river is moving out, but we've still got a lot of leftover moisture in place and some cold and unstable air moving in. That's going to bring us scattered thunderstorms both today and tomorrow. Now, we still have flooding concerns out there because especially with some of these thunderstorms, if they get strong enough, and some of them are expected to get fairly strong, that would mean periods of heavy rainfall, and that could lead to more runoff on the runoff that we already have with the atmospheric river from yesterday. But the snow levels will also be dropping with that cold and unstable air, and eventually even dropping down to as low as points around 2,500 feet. But this wet weather pattern is going to stick around through the weekend, even into parts of next week as well. But we don't have quite as much rainfall in the forecast as we did see over the last 24, 36 hours. So here you can see what it looks like for the valley. You know, I think the forecast models did a pretty good job with those estimates. We did see anywhere from an inch to a little over 1.5 inches for the valley. It was projecting maybe around 2 inches in some areas here, but not bad, right? But this is where we saw most of it. This is where we saw the bulk of the flooding as well. 3 inches plus out towards Crescent City, 2.16 in Eureka, even Hayfork, 1.56. Look at Ruth down in southern Trinity County, 2.64 from flooding issues there as well out towards Trinity County. But yeah, that typical footprint, we're just not seeing as much off to the north and to the east. So again, we'll certainly take these rainfall totals. We look at the rain, the North State forecast here for today, and you've got the overcast skies. Now, it's not depicting any lightning strikes in there, but I think the valley could see some lightning strikes today. Probably not so much for Siskiyou and Modoc County or the East Mountains, but we've got the scattered showers out there today. The North Coast inland could also see some lightning strikes this afternoon, and maybe even out towards Trinity County as well. Now, again, we talked about the atmospheric river and the atmospheric river categories, right? And again, I'm just going to want to touch on this briefly because we're going to be talking about another atmospheric river that'll be coming in on Sunday. All right, so the categories are 1 to 5. 5 being the strongest, 1 being the weakest. Now, the one we saw yesterday was an AR2, where we saw beneficial rain, but unfortunately there were some hazards associated with that. So that's what we saw there yesterday. We're not going to see an atmospheric river for really the rest of the day today and going into the rest of the week. But by Sunday, Monday, we've got another atmospheric river heading our way. Just doesn't look to be quite as strong as the one that we saw yesterday. Which is good, right? We don't want flooding. We don't want hazards moving into the area. There's the atmospheric river down to our south now. So it has shifted to the south. But what we've got here is this area of low pressure right here. We've got colder air wrapping around that area of low pressure, and that's the cold and unstable air that's going to give us the thunderstorms. But again, you see how the atmospheric river is now pointed mainly towards Southern California, but that doesn't mean we don't have any moisture in place, because we do. And that's why this cold and unstable air is going to squeeze out that moisture and also give us some of the thunderstorms. So here's what we got kind of looking long range when we're talking atmospheric rivers. Right here, there's the one that was over us yesterday. That's shifting to the south, no longer part of our forecast. However, we have another one setting itself up here. This one is weaker and is pointed a little bit more to our south, which means not as much moisture coming out of this one. And that's why it's categorized as a weak atmospheric river and shouldn't really pose that much of a concern. Maybe some minor flooding because we're already saturated. But overall, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Here's what we're looking at here for today. The areas in green indicating the best chances for thunderstorms. That does expand to the north and east a little bit here for tomorrow. So we do have the thunderstorms in the forecast over the next couple of days. Let's walk you through the timing of it all. A new element of including here, I want to try to include the snow levels in there to kind of help give you a basic general idea. Now, one thing I want to remember is typically snow levels are a little bit higher off towards the southern Cascades and northern Sierra, and they typically tend to be a little bit lower, especially out toward Trinity County and for Siskiyou County. But overall, what I have is kind of a 1,000-foot buffer in there between 3,000 and 4,000 feet, for example, for today. So again, just kind of keep that in mind, get an idea when you look at it each and every single day. But you can see by noon, we're not really seeing a lot of activity, at least for the valley. Now, that being said, I think we're going to see stray showers and some thunderstorms developing through the afternoon. There you can see them. Now, some of them could get strong. It may not be as strong in all areas that you see here, but this is showing that the instability is there. And that's something we've got to be on the lookout for as we take you through the afternoon. Then we go to about 6 p.m. and there you can still see some of the thunderstorms out there and scattered showers. Okay, and then we go into the overnight hours. The instability is still there. And so we're still going to be looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. Snow levels still between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. But by the time we get into Friday, colder air moves in, snow levels dropping down between 25 and 3,000 feet. So what I'm anticipating is that we could see a bit of a mix out towards Hayfork and Weaverville. But I think it'll be hard pressed for us to see any accumulating snow in those areas. But you can see here as we go through the day on Friday, we're looking at more showers, more thunderstorms making their way into the valley. There's 3 p.m. on Friday. Once again, more showers, thunderstorms, more snow in the mountains, which, by the way, we can't forget about the fact that we already have chain requirements this morning, mainly east of I-5. So with the added snow and lower snow levels, you can bet that there are going to be more chain requirements, especially east of I-5 over the next couple of days. And, we also have to keep an eye on, say, I-5 near Mount Shasta northward, and not to mention 299 around Buckhorn Summit, maybe. But again, I think the biggest concerns and issues will be some of those higher mountain passes as you head east. All right, now we're going to take you to Friday at 6 p.m. We're still seeing some showers out there, still seeing some of those snow flurries. This is a typical unsettled weather pattern. You can't really pinpoint exactly who's going to see rain and exactly how much rain everybody's going to see, or snow for that matter. It's spotty. You see scattered showers here and there, and that's pretty much the nature of these unsettled weather patterns here. There's Saturday morning. We're still seeing some of that snow. We have an area of low pressure coming off down to our west. That's going to help to feed more of that activity in here. Now, I don't anticipate any more thunderstorms on Saturday, but certainly something worth watching. But look at the snow levels on Saturday, 2,000 to 2,500 feet. So now we have the potential of seeing maybe some accumulating snow Saturday for places like Weaverville and Hayfork. Not out of the question. Now we still have flood alerts here through Friday morning. That's because even though the atmospheric river is gone and the bulk of that steady rain is gone, we're still going to feel the effects of the runoff from the rain that we saw the last 24 hours coming off of the foothills and mountains. We get that delayed response. It rains up in the mountains and the foothills, and then it takes time for that water to get down into the lower elevations. And we start to see the creeks and streams begin to elevate. But on top of that, as we go through the day today, with those isolated heavy downpours in some areas, that's just going to add to more runoff. And that's why there's that flood alert through Friday morning. This may be allowed to be extended a little bit farther out, especially if we do see more of those thunderstorms. And again, we have to take these totals with a grain of salt because it just depends on who sees the thunderstorms and who doesn't. So Red Bluff, you could and most likely will see more than 0.19 of an inch of rainfall. Could you see 1.6 in Redding? Not out of the question, but again, it all depends on where these thunderstorms develop. So you get the idea. It just depends on where you are. Some could see an inch of rainfall, others could see less than that. But I do expect to see a bit more as you head out to the coast here. Winter weather alerts out there. Of course, this is a moving target always. throughout the day. The National Weather Service is continuing to update this information here. But as of this morning, you can still see we have a lot of the winter storm warnings and, of course, the winter weather advisories out there. And, of course, that just kind of illustrates and talks about the fact that, yeah, we're still looking at the potential for those chain requirements. Now, I'm going to stop you day by day. So today at 5 p.m., this is where I expect to see the best chances for accumulating snow. Now, as you saw, the snow levels are still be fairly high today, but they are going to be lower than yesterday. Now, look at this. As we go into Friday, it is picking up on some accumulation in Weaverville, Hayfork. On Friday, I don't think so. Saturday, it is a possibility as we do see those lower snow levels. Could it be 1 to 2 inches in Hayfork? Maybe, right, especially as we go into Saturday, but I think most of it, you're going to have to go above, say, 4,000 or 5,000 feet before you really start seeing any significant accumulations. So with that said, the ski park, boy, we're going to be measuring that snow in feet. And then, of course, this is only going through Saturday. Keep in mind, we've got that weak atmospheric river coming in on Sunday, and initially snow levels will be low. And that's going to add even a lot more snow to the ski park on Sunday, not to mention probably even Monday. All right, so here's our long-range futurecast. Now we're going to take you into Sunday. There's that weaker atmospheric river I was telling you about. And as I mentioned, the snow levels will start off high, but they'll start, low, but will kind of increase as we go into late in the day, Sunday into Monday. And the reason for that is the colder air is in place. It's trapped. So as that warm, moist air rides over it, we see those lower snow levels as a result. But as we get more of that warm, moist air moving in, those snow levels will start to climb. And you'll see that here as we go into Monday. I mean, we still have some fairly low snow levels, don't get me wrong, but they won't be as low on Monday. And then we have a couple of storm systems that arrive from the north that could keep us unsettled here as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday of next week. So still a lot to kind of really fine tune as we get closer to the middle and latter part of next week. But we're still seeing that potential for wet weather here as we go into the long range here, and still looking at mainly below normal temperatures. However, you'll notice the lighter shades of blue here. So we were looking at a lot of these darker blues over us. Now we're getting the lighter shades of blue. What that's telling us is that the temperatures, yes, there's a chance of seeing below normal temperatures, but not by much. So even though snow levels are dropping, they're still not down into the Sacramento Valley level. And I know a lot of you have been asking about that. I know some kids are just like, we want the snow. Well, as of right now, I'm not seeing any signs or signatures that we'll see any significant snow making its way into the valley anytime soon. There's a look at our wave heights as we go through the day today, 15 to 16 feet. And then as we go into your Friday, we're just not changing much. It's basically the conditions you're going to experience today or what you're going to experience here as we take you into your Friday. South winds at 10 to 15 knots, waves from the west to 17 feet at 15 seconds, and there is a hazardous seas warning through the day today. Your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. I think we could see some thunderstorms in Trinity County today, but as those snow levels drop, I'm probably looking at the potential for some snowflakes. Bit of a mix for Friday and Saturday. And then as we go into Sunday, there you can see the snow levels start to slowly increase back up to about 5,000 feet by Tuesday of next week. Let's take a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 50s. Chances for thunderstorms both today and tomorrow for the coast, and not to mention the inland areas as well. Look for a high of 54 degrees for Smith River, 54 in Trinidad, and 51 for a high today in Orleans, with, of course, that chance for thunderstorms. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. I've got your snow levels around 3,000 feet Friday, 2,500 feet Saturday, and then slowly increasing after that as we go into next week. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, 44 degrees in Fort Bidwell, 47 degrees in Tule Lake and Aden, a high of about 45. How about Calpines? Well, 46 and 47 for Alturas. And your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast for your Thursday, Westwood, 46, 41 degrees for Chester. There you can see Portola about 44 and Paradise about 50 degrees for that daytime high. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Haas Farms. There you can see about 56 degrees out in Elk Creek. Hamilton City about 59. There are those chances for thunderstorms. Showers continue off and on through the weekend. Of course, heavier rainfall coming in on Sunday with that weak atmospheric river. 50 degrees for Whiskeytown, 55 for Palisadro, and 56 degrees in Red Bluff. Looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, you got the showers and thunderstorms today, possibly going into tomorrow. Showers on Saturday, better chances for some heavier rainfall on Sunday. and then showers for Monday, Tuesday. For now, I've got a break on Wednesday. That could change, but you get the idea. We have this wet weather pattern sticking around for quite a while.